material and process are really at the heart of my work. And so the conception of this project really began by thinking about the material. I'd seen the installation over the years be done very successfully using printed vinyl. And I always felt that that printing process offered a really interesting opportunity to approach this project using a digital methodology. So I knew from the start that I wanted to combine physical tactility and digital process in this project. And then in tandem with those thoughts about process, I was thinking a lot about how I wanted to engage the public and how they would be involved in this process. I've been working for some time on exploring ways that public engagement can work harmoniously with my practice. And I actually find it to be quite a challenge and an interesting idea to explore over time because it's hard, I think, to create space for participation that's meaningful and direct while maintaining a certain level of artistic control. And from the beginning, I was really most interested in participation methods that were universal. I didn't want to limit participation to any one group. I wanted it to be very accessible. And what drew me to fingerprints initially is really their aesthetic. I'm really drawn to order within nature and sort of organic patterns. And I'm just really intrigued by kind of the orderly complexity of fingerprints. And then my interest was really amplified because fingerprints, of course, come with all these really interesting connotations. They're sort of this symbolic reference to touch and the way that we interact with the world around us and with other people. And they have this beautiful duality of being kind of quite commonplace, very universal, but also notably very, very unique. We leave them behind really almost everywhere we go, but they're also very, very private. And so with the support of the CMLC, I set about collecting fingerprints in East Village throughout the month of April. I collected prints in person, as well as setting up collection boxes in some of the residential buildings and businesses. I'm really grateful to all the organizations who made space for this project, including Kidco, Karya Family Services, Parlor Ice Cream, The Drop-In, the East Village Riverwalk team supported me here along Riverwalk, collecting on the weekends, and among many others. My initial goal was to collect 200 to 300 fingerprints, and by the end of April, I had around 640. So I took this astounding number of contributions and I began the process of transforming them into the work that you see today. So the process kind of looks like this. I begin by carefully documenting all of the fingerprints. Then I select a print and I scale it up to about the size of my palm, and I print it out on a new piece of paper. Then I use a flatbed scanner to document that print. But as the scanner moves horizontally across the glass, I pull and I twist and I lift the print along with it. So the resulting imagery is kind of an elongated linear rendition of a fingerprint. I'm really enamored with the dreamy, flowy imagery that this process generates. It mirrors the movement of the river that it sits next to, and it reinforces the work's connection to the site. And then I use the same technique as well for prints that I've carefully digitally arranged. Because the scanner is not intended to be used this way, the resulting imagery often includes vertical lines and skips and bands of color. And I've selectively kept these errors and layered them in because I want to include all aspects of the work all aspects of the process in the work. Using this technique, I can't predict what the output will look like. So I've done this thousands of times, and I've selected the imagery that I feel is especially compelling to include along the site. I've softened and recolored and sometimes inverted the imagery, but I've tried, as in all of my work, to honor the process in the finished piece. The final series that is Touch Traces is 10 surfaces along Riverwalk. It's made entirely from fingerprints contributed by East Village residents and visitors. It's a soft collision of physical touch and digital process that highlights the beauty of these marks and their significance.